Hey everyone, it is Zach, and I am getting to work on my Series 7 team. Now, most of the Pokemon I have already had, including most of these 5 shinies that I had. Majority of them come from the Ultra Wormholes, Pokemon Global Link, and then old distributions from prior games. I did breed this Litten. It was the first shiny Litten I got in Sword and Shield, and unfortunately it has Blaze, but the new item ability patch should help us with that. And then our newest Mon is Regieleki. So what you're going to see now is the spreads that I'm going to use. I'll have a Pokepaste up, and if you guys want to check that out, make sure you like the video. After a certain amount of likes, I will throw the paste and probably even the team code once I have this team ready in cart on the descriptions of the videos. So I'm looking around, and the first thing I look for is the 252s. So both Metagross and Landorus want 252 attacks, so that's definitely where I'm going to start. But before I go there, I actually want to do my Incineroar spread, because Lynn needs to level up. We need to get it to level 100 to bottle cap, and then we need to ability patch it. So we also need to get it to become an Incineroar so we can pass Parting Shot onto it, because this one does not have Parting Shot. So on Incineroar, I want 236 HP, 236 defense, and 36 defense, and a careful nature. What is the nature of my... Okay, so it is adamant. So we'll have to nature man it. That shouldn't be a big deal. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to EV this as close as possible. With something like this, with a spread that is not really set at like the 252, I'm actually going to go ahead and use the vitamins. With the 252 stats, I try to tend to actually just go out and grind them up, because if you're just going to max them out, you don't really need to take the time. And I think, is this the right girl? You are not the right girl. So the Hammerlock Pokemon Center is actually the one that has it. So, and as you want to see, this is the place where you can get the power anklets. These are things that you can use having Pokemon hold it to help them gain EVs and certain stats faster. You can read the descriptions. We have like attack, defense, special attack. You have all the stats that you need, and it's going to just earn those EVs faster. So you definitely want to have 1 or 2 of those ready to equip to the Pokemon that you're EV training. That way it makes the process a lot faster. So we want HP. So we already have 5. We're going to get the 23 anyway. We want the 23 for defense. And then we only need 4 for special attack, for special defense. We'll do the special defense last because that's the lowest one. So now I'm going to go ahead and jump to my bag. Go over to my items. HP. We'll give Lynn 23. Give it 23. And then we need to check for feathers. We do not have enough health feathers. But we do have enough defense feathers. We do need 6 of them. Feathers give you 1 EV point and not 1 stat point. You get 1 stat point for every 4 EV points you have. That way you always want your EVs to be divisible by 4 or 8 at level 50 for VGC. You just have to mess around with them. but I do need 6 more. So I'm going to go to my go-to 252 guy. And we'll be back here when we max out the HP for Tapu Fini. But what I usually do is I come down here. To Route 2. And I go after Yampers and Swelvets. I got this habit shiny hunting Yamper. So I would always use my HP grinding to get Yamper encounters. And at night, Yampers are actually harder to find unless you're using the static ability. So Swelvets also do the HP EV. So every time you knock one out, you'll get 1 HP EV. So we want to knock out 6 of them. And also Lin's getting experience, so it will start to level up. Okay, and that was our last Swelvet, our Yamper we needed to get those 6 EV points onto our Litten. So if I did this correctly, it should have 236 EVs in HP and 236 EVs in defense. So what I'm actually going to do now is jump back over to my bag. And we should only be able to give it 4 Zincs, yeah. And let's see if we have a mint for it. Okay, so we don't have a mint for it, so we can just move on. If we go back and check our Litten, since that those arrows turned from that dark yellow orange color to the light blue, that tells you that your Pokemon's EVs are maxed out. So no matter what you do, the EV spread will not change at this point because it has hit its max limit of 510 EVs. So each Pokemon can get 510 EVs. So what we want to do now is we want to go back to our chart. And we see that both Metagross and Landorus need 252 attack. So that is the max stat. So if you ever see a Pokemon that has 252, that is the max stat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the box, grab my Metagross, Metagross, Potato, and my Landorus, and I'm going to put them in my party. And I am going to give them the Power Bracer. Now the Power Bracer adds, I believe, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure 8 EVs for every encounter. So no matter what kind of Pokemon you go against, if your Pokemon's holding the Power Bracer, it's going to get an additional 8 EVs. So where we go now, what I do for attack is I will go over to Hammerlock and then move over to Route 7. The reason why I go to Route 7 is because Route 7 has some pretty good mons that yield you 2 EV points and 3 stats. So if you need to max out 3 stats, you can hit Galvantula or Liepard for speed, you can hit Berserker for attack, and then you can hit Feeble for special defense. So right now, since we're maxing out attack, we need to hit Berserkers. So we're going to go ahead and encounter as many Berserkers as we can and knock them out. And every time we knock out one, because we're wearing the band, we are going to get 10 EV points. So to max it out, we will need to knock out 26 Berserkers. So I will be back in a hot moment after knocking out some Berserkers. There's one. 25 more to go. So I forgot one thing. This Metagross is from my playthrough of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It was the distribution event if you got the game within like the first 2 months of release. you could get a mystery gift for a Metagross. So its EV spread is just random. So we need to reset it. So for those of you who don't need to know how to reset EVs, we're going to go ahead and jump on over to the Isle of Armor. Now, you only get this if you do have the Isle of Armor DLC. So if you don't have it, you will still have to use the berries to decrease the EVs, which is a pain enough to get enough to decrease a fully EV trained Pokemon. So if you have the Isle of Armor, I recommend this method. So we're going to go to the dojo, head out to sea, and it's one of these little islands, and hopefully we don't hit a Sharpedo. I think it's this one right here. There should be a girl on it. There she is. And she says, when you touch clear, clean sand, it helps cleanse the memories of toil you've been through. Do you want to clear away all of Pokemon's base points and start with a clean slate? I can help. And it's going to cost you 10 Armorite ore, which if you played through the Crown Tundra, not the Crown Tundra, if you played through the Isle of Armor, you should definitely have that. So we're going to go ahead and go to Metagross. Okay, and its base points should be cleared away. So if we check it now, he has no EVs. So unfortunately, we were about 4 in on the attack EVs, so we'll have to make up for those on Metagross. But while I'm in the Crown Tundra, I can pick up some wings in the water, hopefully enough to help me train my Pokemon and avoid the Sharpedo. Will come back to us when we're done EV training. Okay, so after about 30 minutes of grinding down Berserkers, my Metagross and my Landorus is max attack. So now I'm going to go back to my paste. And I see on my paste that the next stat I want to do is speed on Landorus. And I also see that Tornadus also wants that 252 speed. So we can go ahead and add Landorus to the party. And Metagross wants 4. So I know I can kill 2 enemies here and get those 4 points on my Metagross. So I'm going to keep the Power Bracer on the Metagross for now. And I'm going to go ahead and make some changes. We're going to bring in our Tornadus. And we're going to change Landorus's and Tornadus's item to the power weight, which, wait, no, not weight. Anklet. The power anklet increases speed. And after 2 encounters, 2 knockouts, Metagross will have enough speed EVs, so we'll need to remove Metagross from our party. So Galvantula and Liepard in this area both give EVs 2 speed apiece. So without the band, Metagross will be earning 2, but Tornadus and Landorus will be earning 10 per knockout. That's the difference the band makes. 8 EVs after every encounter. Oh, and our Litten is now a level 36 Incineroar, so we are a third of the way there of leveling up Incineroar. As long as we can get him mostly there, I can just give him candies when I move him over to my other game for the ability patch, and that should be fine. And I might have a Careful Mint there too. Okay, so now Metagross is at the speed EVs we want. You see how it's just moved up just a little in speed. So for now, we are going to put Metagross back into our party, back into our box. And now we are going to grind Galvantulas and Lipards to max out the speed and our Landorus and Tornadus. So once again, we'll come back when that is done. Okay, so after knocking out a few Galvantulas and a few Lipards, I can see that my Landorus and my Tornadus are maxed in speed. You can see that because the stat has sparkles floating around it. That lets you know that you have maxed it out at 252. So once again, gonna go back to my chart. And I see that Metagross needs 20 special defense. Landorus needs 4 special defense to max out its EVs. And Tornadus and Regieleki both need 12. So I know that with the band, I get 10 points per knockout. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and jump back into my box. And I'm going to add my Regieleki and my Metagross. So I am going to take the bracer off Metagross. And this time I'm going to give it the power band, which boosts special defense. So now when I hit a Feeble, not only is it going to give me the 2 EVs for Feeble, but it's going to give me the bonus 8 for special defense. I'm going to take the power anklet off. And put the power band on Tornadus. Now Tornadus is only going to need it for 1 encounter. After that 1 encounter, I'm going to move it over to Regieleki, and there's a Feeble right there. So knowing what Pokemon give you what EVs is really important to EV training. I can go deeper in another video if anyone wants me to, or you can just look it up on something like Cerebi, or I use a app called Data Dex on my phone, which you can look at Pokemon and see its EVs. So I did 1. So I'm going to swap items and move the power band over to Regieleki, because Regieleki now has 2 EVs from the first Feeble, and the next one will give it 10, which will make it a total of 12. So we just need to find one more Feeble. There it is. Okay, and Tornadus, Regieleki, and Metagross should be done in special defense. Gonna stay away from this Lipard, and wow, they usually don't go that far on the bridge. So if I check summary, I see that special defenses went up a little. Landorus still needs 1 more, even though it won't count towards any stat distributions. And both Regieleki and Thundurus have just the slightest bit in special defense. So these 2 are done for now. So I can go ahead and put those back in the box. And actually the same with the same with Metagross. So we'll get 1 more Feeble with Landorus just to max it out. I know that last 2 points really doesn't do anything, but it makes the planning easier for me if I can just look at the Pokemon and see that its EV spread is blue, which means that it's tapped out. So I can now go to my Landorus, check its summary, and the EV spread should be blue as it is. So this Landorus is done for the EVs. We do still need to give it 2 more moves, Fly and Protect, but for now we can just throw this bad boy back in our box. And we're going to move that to Finny, because Finny's going to need that. And we can go ahead and we're going to heal up real quick. So now that we've healed up, we can actually bring our Tapu Fini into our party. And we already gave it the Bracer, which boosts special defense. I'm going to double check that just to be sure. Grow special defense. Now Tapu Fini needs 100 points in special defense, so we just need to knock out 10 more Feevils and Tapu Fini's special defense will be done. And it looks like overall we'll be done with special defense as a whole. So there's one. And of course, I will get back to you when the grinding is over. Okay, so I have the 100 special defense EVs on my Tapu Fini. So I hope I can finish the rest in the morning, in all honesty, because I'm getting pretty tired. But I hope this video helped out you guys. I'm going to finish the rest of the morning, but if you guys have any questions about EV training or how I EV train, let me know down in the comments below. If you would like a more detailed video on how to EV train the old-fashioned way by knocking out Pokemon in the best, most efficient way to do it, let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Anyways, this is my Series 7 team in the process, and I'm Zach, and I'll see you in the next one.